Bye. one time Hare Krishna for him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada has introduced this very nice Sunday feast for everyone. So they have free time to come here to hear about Krishna, different devotee speaks. So Veda Prabhu, I just want to give a little instruction that he's from Mayapur Gurukul, studied Vedic scriptures from the very childhood. He's been doing this for the last almost 40 years now. 40 years, yes? 40 years. And he's also doing a lot of preaching, outreach. A lot of Western people are joining through his bhakti yoga classes. A lot of devotees are joining in Europe, America, all over. So a lot of nice preaching. So he's going to speak about Rama katha. He's going to speak about Ram. We all heard about Lord Ram for the last few days. How in Ajanta the temple came up. So he's going to speak about glorifying Lord Ram. Hare Krishna. And then after the class is over, then we'll have more kirtan. Then there will be more announcement, and then there will be prasadam for everyone. Hare Krishna.
And then we'll have a little discussion.
Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Thank you. So, is there anyone else here for the very first time? Second time? You got introduced? Okay, everyone has been acknowledged. So, today there's a little bit of a continuation from what we were discussing last week. I brought up a point, we were discussing about living a life on purpose. To have a purpose in life, otherwise life gets very boring and very redundant and exhausting. And so, meditation that I want to share with you is the story of a devotee of the Lordship's. What is the name? Gangasagar Mara? I'm trying to remember, there is a story in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm asking if the Bengali devotees know. This is a story of a devotee who was serving the Lordship so nicely his whole life. And he didn't have any children, his wife died, and he was alone, he was still serving the Lordship. And the Lord had told him that, don't worry, I will personally come and do your pinda, your oblations, I'll light the fire. It's a tradition in India that when the parents die, the oldest son, they light the fire so the body is cremated. It's part of the journey where the soul is allowed to continue on in their spiritual journey. It's a very beautiful pastime, even now. There was a deity of Gopal, Krishna, little baby Krishna. And this person served Krishna so nicely. And, Krishna told him, you're like my father, I'm your son. So please don't worry. I will be there. And fair enough, when he left his body, the statue that was being worshipped in the temple, when he started to walk, and he changed his clothes. They were white clothes, and they fast. So this deity from the altar came and walked with all the hundreds and thousands of villagers to do the final rites of his father. The name is not coming to me. But because we're talking about Lord Ram, another story that was on my mind is when Ram was exiled in the forest for how many years, who knows?
14 years.
14 years. So he missed out on doing his father's funeral rites. He wasn't there, he was in the forest. And he couldn't come back till 14 years was over. So he had this desire to do something for his father. So in the Ramayana we study when Jatayu, this vulture, was sitting on the tree observing what was happening when Ravana, this great 10-headed king, was stealing Lord Ram's wife. Then he objected. He flew in front of Ravana, even though he was very old and frail. He tried to stop and confront Ravana. How dare you do this, steal another man's wife? So this Jatayu, upholding his dharma, his duty to fight for the truth. When he confronted Ravana took his sword and there was a big fight. And he ended up clipping the wings of Jatayu, this vulture king. And this vulture lay on the ground, dropped to the ground in the jungles, and started to call out for Ram. What was he chanting? He was chanting Ram, 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 Ram. And his depth of his voice, the power of his voice, the purity of his voice, reached the ears and the heart of Lord Ram, who was wandering in the forest looking for his wife. So he came, and he had the great fortune, Jatayu had the great fortune to leave his body being held in the arms of Lord Ram in his life. And Lord Ram was expressing to him how much he appreciated him for fighting for Lord Ram, and that you have done the duty of a father, and so therefore you're like my father. I'm missing my father. He's left back in kingdom in Ayodhya, but I'm feeling that same emotion, this parental emotion towards you. So in this way, Jatayu left with a lot of beautiful, joyful tears, looking into the beautiful face of Lord Ram as he was leaving his body, chanting the names of Ram. And Ram was thinking of his father, and he was bathing this king of vultures with his tears of love and appreciation as a son. So this is just one story that inspires me to realize that each and every one of us, we have a unique opportunity to find our purpose in this world and live a life with a purpose, have a meaning to this life. So last week I was sharing with you how for 42 years I've been doing this pranam mantra. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. This is what is in the heart of Srila Prabhupada. He has the desire to take this message of love, spiritual love, and spread it all over the world in the Western countries. And that is what kept Srila Prabhupada alive every single day. And that is why he lived in his world. It's kept him alive and is what propelled him to vigorously travel the whole world and spread this message of Bhakti. He is excited. So, it explains in the Shastras that dharmena hina pasubhishamana, that if you don't have a dharma, you don't have a purpose in life, then it is like living a life of an animal. pretty heavy statement, huh? Because aimlessly to live life is like living like an animal. They just live for the sake of living, so they can get another body. Human beings, we're supposed to have our dharma, our purpose, very clearly defined. It took me a while, only 42 years, but I realized that my dharma in this world is to take this mission of Prabhupada to the hearts and minds of the Western world. So I want to share with you my dharmic activities and share with you how I'm able to take this unique purpose that I have discovered after studying all these years, and how each and every one of us should take our dharma and take it very seriously so that you'll actually feel fulfilled in life. Otherwise, you become dvipada pashu, two-legged animal, as Narottam Das Thakur says. So, my dharma, my purpose in this world is paschatya desha tarine. Paschatya desha tarine means to bring bhakti to the Western world. This love. Sometimes bhakti is very loosely defined, but it is this transcendental pure emotion that only comes from the heart when you're deeply connected with the Supreme. And it is a process. So, here it is, you can see. This is a letter to Prabhupada writes, 1958. I hope you'll preach this Indian way of thinking everywhere in the foreign countries, wherever you have the opportunity. Prabhupada is loosely saying Indian way of thinking. But basically what he's talking about is this mission of bhakti, the Vedic culture. So, can we go to the next? So we have been, another prophecy that was made by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said that Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh, amar agyay guru hai tare desh. That this whole world, each and every one of us are teachers. And what are we teaching? We are supposed to teach this message of transcendental love. And this message of bhakti, it is our duty, it is our dharma to take this message and to whoever and wherever and whomever and every door, this is every nook and corner of the world, that this message of love shall flourish. So here we see we are in a place called Radhadesh. It's a beautiful old castle in Belgium, where we have this beautiful community that has zero connection with anything spiritual. And somehow we're able to bring hundreds of French and Flemish people together to take this message. You want to carry on with that? You can see we have a unique way to. Narayani was there 1 year with us. She came all the way to Radhadesh for the retreat. And one of the ways is to let people know the essence of life is truly to understand your deep relationship with God. Once you find that relationship with God, you're set. And if you do not, it says this, Jeshamanda nahi jar vritha janma gelota. It says, if you do not identify and reestablish and reconnect and redevelop that relationship with the Divine, then vritha janma gelota, then your life is completely a waste. This human life is a waste. if you're not able to connect. And so we have different ways that to empower others to really, really connect with the divine in their own individual ways. So this is what's happening in Radhadesh. And we do these beautiful exercises. It's not just one person comes and gives a lecture and then everyone leaves, waiting for the prasadam. We actually share each other's hearts, because the process of discovering your spiritual potential and your relationship with the divine, our sages are explaining this beautiful process. 6 Priti Lakshana. Dadati Priti Grihnati Guhyam Akhyati Prichati Bhukte Bhojayataschayavam Shadvidham Priti Lakshana. The 6 loving exchanges is the core foundation of how to penetrate the hearts of all the living entities. And one of them, Guhyam Akhyati Prichati. First one is Dadati Pratigrinati, to accept charity and give in charity to others. People may wonder why give in charity, because our nature to remain selfish, to be the enjoyer, to lord it over, to control everything, is so deep. Through this practice of charity, to give something, and then to really give it in the mode of goodness from your heart and give them something spiritual. And they in turn see the value that you had for this gift. For example, in spiritual life, we always give, beautiful tulasi necklaces and bead bags, and people use it for years and years. And it's a constant reminder for something spiritual. Then, Guhya Makyati Prichati, giving gifts and receiving gifts. And then, to reveal your mind in confidence, and to be the recipient of others revealing their mind to you. You'll notice that unless you are able to reveal your heart to someone, you will never be able to fully love that person. You'll always hold something back. In a husband and wife relationship, if they cannot share everything what's in their mind, the love is not complete. It always remains incomplete. So whatever is in our heart, we reveal to one another. In spiritual life, we do the same thing. That is how we develop divine spiritual love and relationships. This is by Rupa Goswami. He explains this process. Sometimes we feel like if I share what's in my heart, people will judge me. I used to worry about that. If I tell what I feel about such and such, this person will judge me or hate me. The very notion, or he will snitch on me and tell others. Sometimes this fear is there. And that is also, this boy is making fun of me. So this is another fear that we have. That's why we don't reveal what's in our heart. And the reason is that we ourselves do that to others. And that's why we are afraid to reveal our hearts. So it's important part of the practice. Here you can see everyone is practicing this principle of spiritual vulnerability. Sometimes we think that vulnerability is weakness. In India it's very common. If you cry, it's like, come on, don't cry, just, be strong. And whatever opportunities are there for people to be vulnerable and be strong, we make them weak by not allowing them to express. So vulnerability is the most powerful strength that anyone can have. And this is why Guhya Makyati Prichati. And then, you can carry on. And then we do a lot of beautiful things. We do a lot of different meditations to find Krishna in the heart. It's very important. We often forget that Whenever we feel alone, whenever we feel lonely, whenever we feel no one cares, any of these emotions that enter our mind and our heart, then it is simply because you have forgotten that someone is already there with you. And you refuse to acknowledge the person who is your true friend, which is God in your heart. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes this very beautiful song. Ami bina bandhu arakya chetama. He explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, the Lord within the heart is speaking. Who else is in this world who is your friend other than me? You imagine whatever nonsense you do, you can hide your actions from everybody. But your dear friend in the heart, the Super Soul, Paramatma, he knows everything. Because he has been with you forever, eternally. And he's seen you go through your worst and your best, and your ugly, and all of it. And that is what a real friend is, someone who never leaves you, never deserts you, and always there for you when you turn to him. So, this is one of the meditations that we do, understanding your heart space. As we have these calls once a week. We have an international Sangha on Zoom, and it's called the Heart Space Call. And we're reading from Skanda Puran this last Saturday, explaining what a heart space is. And very beautiful, clear definitions are there. So we do this meditation. Oh, here we are, you can see. These are all French people. And French people are not known to be very, they consider the Hare Krishnas to be a cult. It's in their magazines, and you will not find any French people that become devotees of Krishna, because the Hare Krishnas are a cult in their understanding. And so, all these French people are coming and praying to Lord Narasimhadev here as part of the ceremony, part of one of the practices. They all come and pray to Lord Narasimhadev to remove the obstacles that they have in their heart, so they can actually access their heart and their relationship with the Divine. So this is just the French. What do we have? So we use different spiritual practices. Oh, this is our trademark. Wherever we go, we do kirtans. And you'll be surprised that kirtan is such a powerful tool. If you, Narottam Das Thakur explains that if you just chant and dance, you're bound to experience your deep relationship with God just by doing kirtan and dancing the kirtan. So we do a lot of ecstatic kirtans and dance. People are generally quite reserved, first-timers, but they get super energized as you start the kirtan. The heart starts to warm up, and they really, really get into it. Like in India this year, when we went, we had about 50 students. And we can just pause for 1 second. And when we went to India, 50 people in India, first time foreigners, and it's a lot of sensory overdose there. So what we do is that every time we stop somewhere, someone is doing something, we immediately burst out into a kirtan. So in a day, an average day, we have maybe like 8 to 10 kirtans. If one person is using the bathroom and we're all waiting, 50 people are waiting for this one person, we'll just stand on the street corner and do a kirtan. So we have this system that there will be no time in our life when we're doing on this retreats and pilgrimages that we have time to just gossip. Always continuously doing something spiritual. And here, every evening, every morning, and in the midday we have kirtan sessions. In the evening, this is the temple in Radhadesh. Normally they'd never enter a temple. They will not enter a temple because it's a cultish thing. But here, they come in front of Radha Gopinath, Gaurnitai, Jagannath, Baladesh. They have no idea what's going on. All they realize, the energy in the room is so spiritually charging to them. So this is how these French people are practicing bhakti. This is our crew there. Every retreat we have 70, 80 people, sometimes more. And these are all French people who came to take this deep journey of dharma, this purpose-driven lifestyle. One may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but if one somehow or other chants it, he will immediately be purified. There is a devotee, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find a devotee named Gadadhar Das, not Gadadhar, one of the 5 tattvas. He was the shadow incarnation of Gadadhar. And he used to knock on doors, and he would ask everyone, please, say chant Hare Krishna. Can you guys? Hare Krishna. And he would knock on doors and say, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. They said Hare Krishna, he would leave them with a big, beautiful smile. And then he would open the doors and people would say, I don't want to chant Hare Krishna. And he would say, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So many people, when he would knock on doors, this was his service every single day. He would knock on hundreds of doors and just get people to chant Hare Krishna. Why? Because the minute they chant this Maha Mantra with purity, it is explained that Ek Hariname Jata Pap Hare, Kono Papir Sadhya Nei Tato Pap Hare. The Maha Mantra is so powerful. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Divine Creator has injected and infused this mantra with all his potencies. Nothing left behind. All of it is there. So if someone just chants these mantras, then there is a cleansing of the heart that takes place. Cheto darpana marjana. So that's why we do a lot of kirtans. And then this is in Eindhoven. This is our first time. Whenever I go to these different places, I don't know any of these people. They don't know who I am. But now that I have Nitai and Ranjaran, some of these boys, they have created a social media platform for me to communicate with others on Instagram and other platforms. So now only I'm on social media, but all this time people just are so eager that someone is coming to do kirtan and someone is coming to share the message of spiritual love with them. So this is in Eindhoven. Many people show up out of utter curiosity. What is this spiritual love? What is this bhakti? People are interested. When Prabhupada came to the United States of America, people didn't know what is yoga. It wasn't very popular. Spirituality, it wasn't a thing. There was Christianity and a few other yoga groups were coming in. But nowadays the world, everyone knows about spirituality, yoga, meditation, kirtan. So it becomes very easy. Some of us think it's very difficult to go out and tell the locals about our spiritual practices, and we're almost ashamed to share with them that we're bhakti yogis. You know, we hide our neck beads underneath so they cannot see when we walk around. But actually, people are so eager when they see your beads, when they see your mala and you're chanting, they're curious, they want to know. So this is a big revolution happening in Netherlands also. So many people are coming to these programs. First time hearing about bhakti. This is we do a special, we have bhakti sports. I don't know if you know, but we have many bhakti sports. Maybe you can pause, I'll explain what a bhakti sport is. Bhakti sport is when you take the principle of bhakti and you turn it into a very fun activity. So I teach everybody how to dance. So they all hold hands. When we say Gaura, they dance to the left. And Nitai, they dance to the right. And Haribol! So we start to play these different games to build their level of confidence to do this ecstatic kirtan. So this is where I'm explaining the rules of bhakti sports. And thereby getting all these people to chant and dance with us. You cannot hear? Nitai, Gaura. No? You can play. Let's see if people understand this bhakti game. These are bhakti games. Anyway, this is just a little snippet of, we teach people to dance, the bhakti sports. And here, we do a lot of, as I was mentioning to you, in our bhakti programs, the 6 loving exchanges are a big important thing. So you'll notice that there is a lot of sharing that goes on. A lot of unraveling of discovering the self through self-inquiry, and then finding out that when you do self-inquiry through a proper teacher who's training you, then you're able to find bhakti in your heart. So the process that we have overall in this outreach is called Bhakti Vedanta. So we use this method to plant the seed of bhakti in the hearts of others. So we do a Hare Krishna Yoga Nidra. You know what a Yoga Nidra is? People like to sleep a lot because they have so much insomnia they can't sleep. So we teach them how to sleep with the Hare Krishna meditation. Hare Krishna is not just for you to, whatever it takes for people to always be immersed in hearing and chanting. So this is me teaching them how to use the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and to meditate. And the meditation is normally on Giriraj Govardhan. If you read the writings of Rupa Goswami, you will see very detailed description of Giriraj Govardhan. So we read the beautiful descriptions and then we play the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and let them rest. And the body is completely soothed the mind is free. So this is what's happening here. The video quality is so wherever we go, we find beautiful rivers because we incorporate in this outreach, we incorporate all the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And how there's such deep relationship we have with all these 5 elements. If you don't recognize the relationship, if you simply recognize your relationship with, say for example, the air, if you just simply recognize it and you're fully aware of it, you'll become a complete, a spiritually advanced soul. Because without this air, you may not even last for 20, 30 seconds, maybe a little longer. You'll cease to exist. Yet, we don't acknowledge the deep, deep relationship we have with it. So what I teach in this process of bhakti is that to understand how important it is to have relationship with Mother Earth, how important it is to understand your relationship with the bodies of water. And so wherever we have retreats, we find rivers and we go to the rivers and we invite Ganga Devi and all the holy rivers to come and enter that place, and we do a big Ganga Puja. So we do this kirtan, Jai Ganga, Jai Ganga, Jai Ganga Ma. You want to try? Jai Ganga, Jai Ganga, Jai Ganga Ma. 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 And we get into this deep meditation of ecstatic kirtan, and then we worship this river. We invite Ganga Devi, we offer fruits and flowers and incense, and we take that water and we put it on our head, and we offer our deepest prayers of gratitude to all the bodies of water. But in all reality, we are teaching them how to have a relationship, how important it is to have a relationship, and a conscious one. So you don't just put your trash in the rivers, on the earth, and you don't destroy this environment, this air. To understand how important this air plays a role, ether plays a role in our lives. So they understand how these are all expansions and creations of the divine, and all coming from Krishna. And therefore, we need to have deep respect and love for all of this. So this is what's happening here. We're on the bank of the river doing kirtan. Okay, these are more ecstatic people, sharing a lot of love. Yeah, you can see the big huddle. The Western boys and girls, actually they're frustrated in their material opulence. They're searching for something spiritual. Prabhupada writes to Hari Vilas Guru. Yeah, it's when you have all the wealth in this world. Nowadays even Indians, they're so rich, and they get frustrated. What now? And we forget that we need to look deep within ourselves. So therefore this need is there, that each and every one of us find our dharma, find our duty in this world, and that is already given to us. Mahaprabhu has given it to us, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given it to us. Srila Prabhupada has also given it to us. Paschyati Deshatari. Continue. This is in Bulgaria. Yeah, we have an interesting place. Never been to these places. Someone asked me, how do you go to these places? Who sets it up? I said, I really don't understand. There's one person we meet, and then they get really inspired and they start this bhakti communities. Once they understand that we are all about this importance of understanding the practice of unconditional spiritual love. This is what this mission is all about. To give Krishna prema. Golokera prema dhana harinama sankirtan. The treasure, the essence of the spiritual world is brought to this material world, and that is transcendental love. This harinama sankirtan. So, this is what our effort is. Again, as we say, Kirtan is one of our core practices. Wherever we go, we must do Kirtan. If they don't know, we teach them the mantras, we teach them what it means, we teach them how to hear, how to clap, how to dance. Okay, let's go. More Kirtans. This is we divided the group in Bulgaria into 4, and this is one of the groups. On the Black Sea in Bulgaria, we go to our bhakti retreats one weekend, and it's fascinating how people are so open to hear this message of bhakti, this message of spiritual love. But Krishna is so attractive that he is accepted even by the Westerners when the consciousness is presented in the right discipline succession. It's very interesting. This Krishna, sometimes to us Krishna just means God, statue. But Krishna is the personification, the embodiment of transcendental, pure, eternal, unconditional spiritual love. That is what Krishna is. So if we really, really understand what he is and we carry that in our hearts, people are attracted to that. So this is Prabhupada's message. And then we go to Gitanagari, where we also have ecstatic kirtans. We take about 100 students there. Gitanagari is itself a very spiritually charged place in North America. And people just like to chant and dance like madmen, which is fantastic, because that's what bhakti is all about. Just chanting and dancing. Okay, with that. What else we got? And then we do something called the nature walk. Mindful walking. We go into the woods of Gitanagari. Prabhupada used to walk this path. So we walk this path and we have beautiful nature meditations, understanding how we are deeply connected with nature. When we inhale, the oxygen is given to us by the trees. And when we exhale, the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the trees. How it's such an important relationship we need to have. And if we chop all the trees down, then we may start suffocating a little bit. So to understand how everything in this world, there's God in it, and it's for us to have a personal relationship with it. So here, this is what's happening in Gitanagari, nature immersion. And here, this is the river. You can see Ganga Puja. There's a river in Gitanagari. We invited Ganga Devi to come. Sometimes Gitanagari is known as Gupta Vrindavan or Hidden Vrindavan. So they call it Yamuna, but I didn't know. So I started inviting Ganga Devi there. So we all prayed to Ganga Devi to come. And we did a big, beautiful puja. You cannot hear it, right? But that's okay. You can see, after every retreat, we all get together and we share the inner transformation that is taking place. The inner journeys that are taking place, and most people are completely changed. The perspective shifts, the consciousness is raised. So this is if you can attract all the Westerners in India in that way, it will be a great service. And I am repeatedly requesting you to please take up this matter seriously and combine together. The message is clear that Pashyati Deshataya. And then we are in Vrindavan, Rishikesh. You can see, this is a lady named Eileen. She just retired from the medical field and she came to India, to Vrindavan with us. And this is in Govardhan. We do a Govardhan parikram. And everyone gets to have the biggest attraction in the whole world. The biggest deity in the whole world is this mountain. That's 23 kilometer radius mountain. It's in the shape of a peacock. The deity is in the shape of a peacock, and this is called Giriraj Govardhan. So when we do circumambulate there, natural spiritual emotions of love start to come out. So she was just bathing this, one of the beautiful Giriraj stones, and I said, why are you crying? And she was just, I just feel so much love in my heart, and such deep gratitude that in this life I'm here to be able to be in personal contact with God in the form of a stone that can fulfill all desires. So she was bathing the Shila, Giriraj Shila, and she was profusely crying, sharing deep love of appreciation. This is just a small picture of our whole group. We were there in Rishikesh. When they go to Vrindavan, you don't have to teach anymore. Your teaching stops as soon as you enter Vrindavan and Rishikesh. Why? Because the energy of the places, the people who are dressed in tilak, dhoti, sari, malas, gopiskas, you just naturally want a piece of that. Everyone buys neck beads, everyone starts to wear a tilak, and everyone gets a japamala, and everyone collects Vrindavan dust, and they roll in the dust. I won't show you those pictures because you'll think it's very silly. They're rolling in the dust of Vrindavan. These are just people for the first time in India. You cannot imagine a random person from the United States saying, come to Vrindavan and start rolling on the dust. No, they just go there and something happens to them. It's unexplainable. And that is the spiritual emotions are just coming out. And this is what's happening in Vrindavan. Everyone is deeply ecstatic in their own meditations. Carry on. Oh, this journey on auto rickshaws, huh? And you know, everywhere we go, you have to tell them the stories. Krishna jumped off this tree, Krishna did this, Krishna did that, this is what Radha Kund is, this is what Shama Kund is. So you have to explain to them. You can just read out of the Puranas or you can explain to them. I remember when we went to Radha Kund and Shama Kund. Who has been to Radha Kund and Shama Kund? Raise your hand. Who has not been there, raise your hand. Little higher, who hasn't been? Who has no idea what I'm talking about? So these are these two lakes in Vrindavan. And these two lakes are so powerful energetically. So powerful. It's, with words it's hard to explain, but I'll just give you a small story of why these lakes are so powerful. Krishna and Radha, you see those beautiful deities there. They're the embodiment of transcendental, pure, eternal, unconditional spiritual love. It's hard for us to imagine what that is, but that is who we worship on the altar. So when they two together are in each other's embrace, and they're feeling, each one is feeling this deep spiritual love for one another. The spiritual love is so strong that their body melts and turns into these two beautiful rivers. And these two rivers are called Radhakund and Shyamakund. And when you look at the mountain, the biggest temple and the biggest deity in the whole world, if you have not seen, I'm requesting you to please make it your life mission to see the biggest deity in the whole world, Giriraj Govardhan. And the eyes of Giriraj Govardhan are these two beautiful lakes. And when you sit on the bank of those lakes, you just sit there, do nothing. Your mind will get shocked, zapped, and will completely shut off, and you will immediately enter your heart, not by choice, just by the sheer power of these two beautiful lakes. And you will start feeling deep spiritual emotions. We were sitting on the bank of this Radhakund river. There was about 14 of the attendees. They were just sitting there crying for no reason. They were crying for a reason. And they were crying because they were feeling the spiritual love of Sri Radha. The divine feminine energy and the masculine energy. So this is, I'm telling them stories before they go in, because they want to know why are there hundreds and thousands of people here? What's so special about these lakes? So I tell them these beautiful stories from the Puranas that explain the significance of all these places. Let's go. And then here we go to the Himalayan mountains in Rishikesh, and everyone has to journal. You write down your experience with Ganga Devi. People don't understand who Ganga Devi. Who has seen Ganga? Raise your hand. Who has not seen Ganga? Raise your hand. A little higher. You have not seen Ganga. You must see Ganga Devi. She is the Charanamrit. She is washing the feet of Vishnu in the spiritual world. And if you touch her, you never have to take birth again in this material world. Because she comes straight from the spiritual world. This is there in the Puranas. The Veda is not making any of this up. It's so powerful. I can tell you such deep powers of Ganga Devi. How much transformation happens when you just bathe in her. Okay? You can see they're meditating, they're doing yoga, they're chanting, dancing, screaming. This is Raghunath Prabhu. You may have met him. We were going from Rishikesh to Vrindavan, and they were going from, we were going from Vrindavan to Rishikesh, and they were going from Rishikesh to Vrindavan. So we met them in the highway. And we just met each other on the highway and said, let's get together and do a kirtan. What happens when spiritual groups get together? Kirtan. What happens when devotees get together? Kirtan. And so this is what this spiritual life is all about. You can see people are chanting, dancing ecstatically. Oh, then I did a special tour for a small group of people, and we went to Mayapur. This is like level 2 people. This is in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. And people understand the sanctity of cows. We did a big Go Puja there. Everyone was thinking, this is what goes on my plate. What are these people doing? They're worshipping this thing. And it was a big eye-opener. Everybody that went on this yatra, they end up all becoming vegans, vegetarians. They become soft, they become kind, they become compassionate. Next. So we're in the bus, and you know what happens when you're in a bus? You want to fall asleep, get on the phone, play some games and text and Instagram and Facebook. We're in the bus, and every time we're in a bus or in a taxi or in a tuk-tuk or whatever we're in, there's always a kirtan. And you see, people, you cannot, when you go on these yatras, people are so eager to immerse themselves so deep into the spiritual emotions and the spiritual practices. This is inside of a bus. And then we were also very fortunate when we went to Rishikesh. Sachinandan Swami came to hang out with us. He wanted to meet everybody, so he came and he shared beautiful stories of Rishikesh. And then when we went to Mayapur, Niranjan Swami said, I want to share with your students about the significance of Mayapur Dham, so you can see him here. And this is another special ceremony we do. You know, there is a place in Rishikesh called Triveni Ghat, where Ram and Lakshman, they came and they meditated there on the bank of the Ganga to do offer oblations. Triveni Ghat, it means the braid of Ganga Devi. You know, Ganga Devi's hair. You braid the women's hair into 3 parts. So Ganga Devi in this place becomes this 3, branches off into 3. So that place is called Triveni Ghat. So that is where it's a beautiful temple of Ram and Lakshman. They came there to meditate and offer oblations, because when they came back, their father was gone, so they came and they meditated there. So that is the place where we all went, and everyone took. There were like at least 8 or 10 people who brought ashes. I said, please bring ashes of your friends, your family, your grandfather, your mother, and we'll send them all to the spiritual world. Such transformation happens when you do this ceremony. The relief, the hard heart, the painful heart is completely relieved when you put everybody into the shelter of Ganga Devi at the lotus feet of Vishnu. So this is in Triveni Ghat. So the whole world is suffering for Krishna consciousness. Take Indian culture and help them with American money. The whole world will be happy. Prabhupada talking to Indians, you get the message. That's it, Veda? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is just a little glimpse of this topic we're talking about, the importance of understanding a purpose, your dharma in this world. And each one of us have a duty to find what our dharma is and be so deeply involved in our dharmic work. And for me, Srila Prabhupada has given me Paschyatya Desha Dharani, because he came here for all of you. So please, take this message of bhakti and share it with everybody and anyone that you know, and even the people that you do not know. Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai. Amita Khanna and family to please come. They are the Sunday feast sponsors. Janti Bhai will do Aarti because they are not here. And also those of you who are monthly donors to the temple, please come and pick up your Back to Godhead magazine. So please come face the lordships, we'll have a kirtan now. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Pray for him. So the donor for today's Sunday feast is not here, but he's watching you, because he's watching the deities. He wants all of your prayers. Can you send him some prayers? And he wants the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and their prayers to their worships. Momita Khanna and family. So if you don't mind, to raise all 4 of your arms. Chaturbhuj Murti. There we go. Together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If you see this magazine, this is called the Back to Godhead magazine. Srila Prabhupada had started, still going on. It gives you very beautiful articles and things that are happening in the world of Iskcon. So please, if you're a monthly donor, please come and pick that up from Shota Sri Prabhu. It'll be in the big table outside. And also on the 3rd of February is our Super Saturday, and it's dedicated, a day dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. It's to keep us reminded that we are all here because of him. So we dedicate a day to him because he brought this spiritual love for us to experience. So please come on the 3rd of February. And on the 5th is Satila Ekadasi. There will be a kirtan in the temple room from 6 to 8 p.m. Every Ekadasi there is a kirtan here in the temple room. So please come, all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There's also a kirtan course being offered by the youth here. And we have, you want to make the announcement?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. As many of you know, there's many aspiring youth here that have been the inspiration for this kirtan course that Veda here has just mentioned. And youth such as Krishna, Umay, Garima, and many others that I haven't met. Me and Dark Lord Dina Dayal have taken the inspiration from these youth to put together a bit of a course so that the youth can better follow how to engage in the wonderful activity of Kirtan. We plan to start the course on February 11th, so that's 2 Sundays from now. For further information, we're still in the works of it, but Krishna Harris will be a part of it. Karthik Kripa will also be a part of it, and teaching you. So feel free to reach out to me today. And next week, in the Super Saturday coming, we'll have flyers for more information as well. So please reach out, and we look forward to it. It's not, by the way, it's also not just for you, all ages, all skill levels are welcome. So, there you go.
Also, we have, when you have seen Nate Prabhu, you see him here? He's a fortunate young man. He's leading the book distribution initiative in this temple. So, which means that this message of Gita to enter every single house. And if you're not personally able to go out and put these books, please contact him and he'll be able to show you how to get involved. It's coming to you very soon. It's coming to you. Prabhupada book distribution ki jai. So please come and have the last darshan of the Gita, and prasadam will be served here in the temple.